Okay, welcome back. Welcome back to STEMyoutube.com. And today we're going to be going over the conservation of mass laboratory. As you can see, you're going to need graduated cylinder, an Erlenmeyer flask. You're also going to need a scale, perhaps a calculator, an Alka-Seltzer tablet, and 200 milliliters of water, along with a balloon for this lab. As you can see, I am actually checking for the mass of the graduated cylinder. It's the very first thing that I want to do is gather the mass of all the devices that I'm going to use during this lab. I'm going to record this on my lab sheet. And what's very interesting about the mass of water, I'm looking at the mass of 100 milliliters of water will end up equaling the number of grams in the water. So the metric system is a wonderful system to use, and it's fascinating how they put this together. I also want to find the mass of my balloon, and of course record that onto my lab sheet. Now I want to pour the water into my Erlenmeyer flask. And I'm going to pour both 100 milliliters out of both of the graduated cylinders into the Erlenmeyer flask for a total of 200 milliliters of water. Then I'm going to get my Alka-Seltzer tablet. I'm going to place my Alka-Seltzer tablet inside of the Erlenmeyer flask. I'm going to let the Alka-Seltzer totally dissolve within the water. And after it's completely dissolved in the water, I'm going to go ahead and get another mass reading. So the point of this lab is basically to check and see if the total amount of mass for the reactants is equal to the total mass for the products within this lab. And I'm going to allow that to go ahead and finish. And then I'm going to get a reading as far as the total mass. Okay, now for part 2 of this laboratory, I'm going to take all the same measurements. I'm going to get the mass of the Erlenmeyer flask. I'm going to get the mass of the water. I'm going to get the mass of the tablet. I'm going to get all the same measurements as far as mass. The one part that's going to be different is I'm going to be adding a balloon to the Erlenmeyer flask. As soon as I put the Alka-Seltzer tablet down into the water, I'm going to add my balloon to the Erlenmeyer flask. So I've got all my mass readings. I've recorded that onto the lab. And now it's observation time. And I'm taking a look at the Alka-Seltzer reaction with the water. And I'm making sure that my balloon is on securely. I'm going to make sure that the reaction completely takes place. And then after the reaction, I'm going to check for the mass, the total mass once again, but this time with the balloon on the flask. Okay, so everything that comes with the lab, what exactly are you going to be able to get? You get the Law of Conservation actual lab. It actually has material list, a purpose, procedure. It's got part 1 and also part 2, of course, with and without the balloon. You also get a descriptive as far as the scientific method, and we have our very own STEM format as far as different questions that the students will be asked along with reflections. So please cruise on over to stemtpt.com and get your copy of the Law of Conservation Lab. See you next time.